Hello, everyone, and welcome to the One Man Renegade podcast YouTube channel. And you're probably asking yourself, well, what the heck is that? It's not a podcast, it's a YouTube channel. So, why is it a One Man Renegade podcast YouTube channel? Well, quite simply, my name is the Honorable Greg B., and I have a podcast, the One Man Renegade podcast. And sometimes throughout the course of the podcast, I mention certain things. For instance, I just recently picked up this Kemba Walker uh, Funko Pop. And while I'm mentioning these things, that's great for a podcast, but the problem is you can't see it. And while I do have a blog, which is razorvader.blogspot.com, you should go check that out, which hosts the podcast and also I post things on. I'm not the greatest at doing that. And also, like, I feel like I don't really elaborate as much with that, so it's just the picture and there's not really much explanation sometimes unless you listen to the podcast. And then even if you listen to the podcast, you might forget what I was even talking about when you see the picture later. So I thought to myself, well, maybe I should do kind of a supplementary uh, YouTube channel, so now that I can show off some of the things I'm discussing on the podcast. So that's sort of what this is. It's definitely a work in progress. As I can look at my thing right now, I realize this is not straight at all. But that's little things like that. I'm guessing the lighting's okay. I have this stand. The first time I'm using it's not as sturdy as I thought it was going to be, but hopefully you can get the job done. This is just more of a test run. I'm just kind of explaining to you what this is going to be about. So, if you've ever listened to the podcast before, you know that I lots of times open up WWE Slam Crate. Now, I've since canceled my subscription to that, even though they're like a year or so behind, and I think I still have a year on top of that because I forgot to cancel it to begin with. So I still have plenty of those on the way. I believe one shipped recently, but I also picked up just recently, and I don't I haven't really explained this on the podcast yet, but it's the Star Wars Smuggler's Box from Amazon and Funko. From what I understand, this is the last one they're ever doing. So I I jumped on it. I was like, you know what? It seems kind of cool, and especially with the Rise of Skywalker having just come out and the Mandalorian going on or just ending too. I felt like there could be some cool stuff in there, so maybe I'd jump on it. It's 1 month, and then apparently that's it. They're done, so it's not really much of a commitment. Although they've never, I signed up for it, and they're like, "Oh, here's your subscription. Your box is gonna ship soon." It shipped, and now I have it, but they never say anything about any future boxes. Now, it used to be once every 2 months, from what I understand. But if this is the last one, then it's done. And I guess this was the December one, so December 2019. So from what I understand, they're not continuing in 2020. But technically, I don't think they ever said anything, so I don't know quite what the story is with that. But if I get more, as long as they're cool, I don't really mind. But I definitely want to check out this last one. So look for that in a future video. I'll also be going over some of my collections. As you can see here, I have some baseball cards. I just randomly picked these ones that were like sitting right beside me for no reason. But this is actually a pretty good one. Roger Clemens, 1985 Topps rookie, and a 1989 Gary Sheffield Upper Deck rookie. Um, I don't know why they were there, but they were there. I also have some wrestling figures here: Hasbro's Macho Man, Jake the Snake Roberts, and Rowdy Roddy Piper. Now, unfortunately, my Hasbro collection isn't exactly what it used to be, but I'll go over in a future video at some point when I can find the rest of them. I don't know. I'm not really sure how many more of these I have because I used to have like all of them. But I'll go over kind of a history of that and talk about some of that sort of stuff when I find them and get to that episode. But I'm also going through my plan is to go through my almost my entire baseball collection. Not my entire baseball collection. I have like boxes and boxes of commons that I will not even. I don't know what to do with those, to be quite honest with you. But and I'm guessing there's some actually good cards in those, but I'm not going to be going through them. Well, not necessarily. Possibly though. If I go through and kind of find out like oh wow, there was someone that was end up in some year that I didn't realize was in there, and at the time he was a nobody, and now he's a somebody. Maybe I'll go back through and pull some of those out, but I don't particularly plan on doing that. My more plan is to go through my better cards and also kind of weed out the ones that at the time might have been good, but now are not any good. Um, Also, here's a Kemba Walker. I mentioned this earlier. I don't have a huge pop collection, but I do have a few. But I also have a fairly decent bobblehead collection that I've accrued over the years of just going to sports games and whatever and getting free giveaways or just accumulating through various means. So I'll be going through those. Um, if you could see my room right now, you could see that, and I'm just going to grab the one that's sitting right in front of me. I have a ton of video games. This is one I recently picked up, Dead or Alive 6. Um, I have a ton of video games, spanning all systems, all generations, all platforms, all consoles, all sorts of things. So I'll be going through some of that stuff too. You know, a lot of this stuff is just stuff that I've kind of mentioned on the podcast here and there, but it was kind of like, well, unless I can kind of show you what it is, I don't know how much like value that has on a podcast. I mean, I can tell the stories as much in sort of longer form, but in terms of showing you visuals of what my collections are about, or you know, if I'm opening a box, what's in it, it's a lot easier to do on a YouTube channel. Now, I don't know if anyone's going to watch this. I don't know if anyone listens to my podcast. I don't really care. I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it for fun. So if you enjoy it, of course, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, hit the little uh, the what is it, the bell that tells you, gives you a notification when I post a new video, which I don't know how many videos I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna start doing this and see where it goes. Potentially I'll be like, it'll be kind of a situation where, you know, I'll probably record like a bunch of them in a row, like on the same day, and just kind of upload them as I go. Because, you know, as opposed to the podcast, my podcast, which can go, you know, hour, 2 hours sometimes. Obviously, you have a YouTube channel, you don't want to do that. So, sticking to kind of shorter videos, you know, 10 minutes seems to be about the norm. You know, obviously you can go longer or shorter than that, but I think 10 minutes is probably the good range. So, you know, if I go through my baseball collection, I'm not going to do it all in one video. I'm going to separate it by, you know, well, however I have it uh, stored, basically, and kind of just go through it there and there. And, you know, who knows? Maybe I'll start opening up new stuff. I don't know. I haven't really decided yet. I don't know if I want to get back into that game. I actually, you know, I'll get to it when I kind of goes through stuff, but I haven't really been collecting baseball cards or sports cards in general, I should say, in a long time. Um, Video games are the thing that I'm probably more collecting anything than anything else at the moment. Although I've been getting more into more current stuff as opposed to older stuff. But I do have tons of older stuff. But I haven't really gotten any older stuff recently. But I have a bunch of stuff. Yeah, my room is filled with stuff. So I have a huge DVD collection. Cause sure. Um, yeah, I'm just trying to look around the room, see kind of things that I might be talking about. Yeah, I've got a record collection of sorts. It's not huge, but it's something I definitely would cover on the show. Um, my dad's record collection actually really big, but I'm not gonna go through that because most of the stuff is old stuff. I don't have any intention of keeping. But I did pick out a few of those, um, and have plenty of my own. So I'll go through some of that stuff. I have a CD collection somewhere. It's not as big as it used to be, but I still have some CDs. Um, yeah, I even still have some VHS tapes, which apparently are back in vogue a little bit. I don't know. Apparently, I've seen them somewhere that people were buying video cassettes and audio cassettes too. I used to have a huge audio cassette collection as well, but you know, over time you move on from the old formats and move on to something else, but then those become vintage and people want those. I mean, it happened with records. I mean, when I was growing up, um, records are out of style. No one wanted records, and now they're the thing again. So, um, yeah, I mean, with digital stuff these days, there's not a lot of physical collection. The physical collections are disappearing in terms of like media. I personally don't care for that. I like the physical media. Yeah, I get it. I know it's a lot easier to do digital. It's a lot, you know, less. it takes up less space, basically, more so than anything, and you have everything available right at your fingertips. I get it, but at the same time, is what happens if the internet crashes and then you have nothing, or like your hard drive goes down and then you have nothing? Well, I still have the physical versions, and I can watch them whenever I want, or listen to them whenever I want, or play them whenever I want, or whatever the case may be. And then collectibles, you can't do digital collectibles. Like digital baseball cards, I know they tried it, but it's stupid. Like, what's the point of it? Like a digital bobblehead or Funko Pop digital wrestling figures, that doesn't make any sense. So there you go. Just that's kind of an intro, and be on the lookout for more videos from me in the future if I can figure out this whole YouTube thing and maybe get my camera straightened and maybe the lighting better. I don't know. It's a work in progress. So please, if you want, subscribe, tell your friends, share this, give a thumbs up, check out the blog and the podcast. I'll have everything in the links down below to all my varying media and social media and all that sort of stuff. So thanks for watching, and hopefully come back soon, and maybe I'll have some more videos up soon, or a lot, or maybe done. I don't know. Who knows what's going to go on? It's 2020. Anything can happen now. All right. Thanks for watching.